I am Felipe,
And I am Renee. We are fortunate enough to live in Canada.
and like us, there are many others who are still waiting to be heard.
This is a space for all of us to share our experiences, our ideas, and our victories.
This is our podcast.
Hello! Welcome back to a new episode of our International Path, officially our second episode with this new name. And as we told you on the last episode, we have a very important guest because he worked on all the logos and graphics and everything you've seen about this podcast before, since we started as our path podcast and now as our international podcast. So we went to school together, and he is right here just waiting to say hi to everyone. And here he is, Shreyas Puthran.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for those who are listening, Shreyas, it's more a friend of Rene than mine. I don't know him at all. So yeah, if
we
I'm
have
a little bit quiet with him.
We've had
that.
if I a call or two before, you know Shreyas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
a little bit.
Just a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, just
So on our last episode, we were talking about what were we talking about, Felipe?
So people were asking us how to come here, from our other countries. In your case, it would be India. In our case, it's Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked to them about how you can search it up by yourself, in the Canadian government. Especially, we focused in the, if you go to university and stuff like that.
Because we were students.
As a student perspective, because we don't know how it works with work permits without previously being a student.
Yeah.
So today we're gonna talk what happens after you study. So it's about work permit and PR.
Yeah.
Mm.
So if we wanna, before that, I wanna ask Shreyas about the cultural shocks, because we were also talking about that in a previous episode, but I want to hear his perspective on that. So before that, tell us a little bit of you, your background and where you come from, because India is relatively big, right? So yeah.
So my name's Shreyas. I've been here in Ottawa for about a year now. Yeah, it's been exactly a year, and it's gonna approach a year in 1 month. And my family lives in Mumbai, so I should say technically I'm from Mumbai. But my family is just it's kind of a different case. My parents are from the southern part of India. I was born on the eastern side of India, and now my parents live in the west. So there's been a lot of travel in my lifetime, I guess.
That's cool.
Yeah. So what were you doing in India before you came to Canada?
So I worked for about a year or 2 years as a graphic designer. It was not exactly the main thing that I learned, but I would definitely say it was something that caught my attention, and then I just started sort of learning it on my own and just getting better at it, I guess. So
Yeah.
I was working as a graphic designer for about a year, and then I thought, my intentions was always I want to come to the other side of the planet. I don't want my legacy to be that born in India, died in India. Just being at home all the time. It's just I thought no, I don't want to do that. So I thought okay, I'll for a change I'll move somewhere else. Now Australia was one of the options, but Australia is not really the most
Immigrant
I
friendly.
don't yeah, immigrant friendly, especially Indian friendly. So that was ruled out. The US was the second option, but considering how the US is right now, I just didn't want to take any chances. And so Canada was the third option, and honestly, it's better. I mean, it's better. It's a bit comparatively a bit more cheaper. Life is better here, and plus I've never being an Indian person, I've never experienced like a full on winter, so I get to experience
Mm.
that. So it's life is good. Life is good here.
Yeah. So cultural shocks, besides the winter, or your weirdest experience during the winter.
Uh, what my experience during winter?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest. The first week and a half was amazing because I was just seeing this snowfall, and it was captivating at the start, and then I realized, oh no, it's actually much more dirtier than it looks.
Yeah, like those who don't live like in places where it snows, like we imagine it like very clean, like every time it's white. But no, it's just like the first 2 days, even the first day,
Yeah,
and the next
exactly.
days it's just like moth.
Yeah,
Like it has a special name. Do you know the name, Rene? Or you sure
Uh,
yes? It has a special name. I always forget.
I'm not
Like you know
sure.
that type of snow that it's gray. I mean,
I know
Fishing
I know
rain.
what I know what yellow snow means, but I don't
oh
think I don't think that's the same thing
yeah, no.
as what you're trying to think of.
No, but yeah, like for those who live like in other countries, like don't expect like winter to be always very white and beautiful.
It's
Mm.
Believe me,
very
it turns
dirty.
gray. Yeah.
It's unreasonably dirty. I mean, the first snowfall was magical, and then ever since then, I just kept I would like me and Renee, we were part of the same program, so I would get up at like 6 in the morning and get ready and like leave by 7, and it's just after the first snowfall, I saw everything, and everything is just it's just muddy, it's just brown and dirty, it's just everything, and plus the salt makes it even worse because your shoes all get completely like
Salty, white,
salty and white.
dry.
You have like
Yeah.
these white streaks on your shoes, and the mud, and since they put the salt, the mud just makes it even more like disgusting in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So we put salt on the ground so that we
Mm,
don't like slip. It makes everything less slippery.
Yeah, it
mm.
makes the snow melt,
Melt.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like
And
I've seen
and the
those
ice. Yeah.
I've seen those like those those like those tiny little truck thingies which has the scooper on it, which usually goes by the sidewalks and stuff. I've seen one of those machines like shit out like salt and stuff on the ground. So I thought,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's interesting.
Yeah. So, like, any other cultural shock that you had, like anything that was like, oh my god, why are they doing this? Like, Canadians sounds so weird.
I would say like me being an Indian and you guys being Mexican, you guys would definitely relate to like the food. The food here is
It's
it's a little
interesting.
underwhelming. It's a little underwhelming, yeah.
Well, it's because our cultures have like they're very rich when it comes to food. Like Mexican and Indian gastronomy, they have a lot of plates. Like I
Yeah.
feel that's the thing. But
Yeah,
at the same time, like yeah, here in Canada, they don't have too many things to
yeah.
offer.
Like
Mm.
from like Canada, like they have a lot of food from all around the world,
Yeah,
and it's all
exactly.
good. But like, yeah,
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like Canadian food, when it comes down to Canadian food was, it's okay. I mean, I like poutine and stuff, and I think poutine is a the thing is like back home, when I was in university, there was a lot of like restaurants which were focused only on fries. And the thing is, they would sell it as loaded fries, but here they changed the name and they serve it as poutine. So
Oh, it's the
I
same thing?
I feel like it should be. It kind of is. I mean, they don't put cheese curds, but they rather just put like shredded cheese on it and then just like
Gravy?
and then gravy. Yeah, like sometimes they put like marinara sauce and things like that. And they would
Interesting.
just top it off with like a bunch of other like stuff on it and just
Yeah.
serve it to you.
I had no idea what poutine was until I came here. For the people who don't know, I'm gonna put an image on here. You can watch it on YouTube. You can see if you're on YouTube. I'm gonna search for poutine. La poutine. So it's fries, gravy, and
Fries?
cheese curds. That's it. And then you have like different varieties, right? Like pork or bacon or like nacho poutine.
I think that the biggest difference is like just how the fries are made.
Yeah.
Like, for example, it's not the same like McDonald's fries from Burger King fries.
What's
Mhm.
like I will ask you guys one thing. What is like the weirdest type of like what is the weirdest like version of poutine that you guys have tried? Like not just not in terms of like like we put a bunch of other toppings and stuff or anything, but like they change the gravy and they change it's like one of those there's ones that are influenced by like other country cuisine and stuff, like Mediterranean poutine was one thing I tried.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Mediterranean poutine is apparently a thing, and it's not good. It's just not good. It's just that, when it comes to fries and hummus, it just doesn't go.
Yeah, sounds weird.
Yeah, it's
I don't know. I would
have
say
you guys ever tried that?
no. Say the weirdest
But
one
like,
was like that I've
the one
tried
that
was yeah.
sorry. No, you.
Mine, it was like fish, like salmon, and then gravy, and then sour cream. I don't like. It was like at my friend's house, and I think he made it as a joke, but that was the weirdest one that I've had.
Is that like a British influenced one or something?
Maybe fish and chips or something. I don't know.
Man, like those, like when you go to shawarma places and they have like the sticks and chicken, that it's like literally just fries, the shawarma chicken and a lot of like chili and stuff like that. Like, is that a poutine or?
I mean, I think poutine would be fries, gravy, and cheese, and then you can build on top of that.
Yeah, then I'm very traditional. Like I don't really like poutine at all.
Not really.
No, I remember because you need to eat it like very fast. If not, it gets soggy.
True.
Yeah.
Like I remember.
That is.
Yeah.
Oh no, go ahead. No, I was just saying that that's the bad thing about poutine is that if you don't eat it fast enough, the cheese doesn't melt, the gravy becomes a little like stale, and then the gravy just makes the fries incredibly soggy, and then it's just not you can't. I don't. It automatically turns me off from like consuming it.
Yeah. Like I remember the most Canadian day of Shreyas. We went to watch hockey. We watched the Ottawa Senators game against my favorite team, which is Colorado Avalanche. Don't ask why. Canadians hate that I like an American team better than a Canadian team. But we watched that game. The Avalanche won, and then Shreyas bought poutine, and he was watching the game. He's like, "Yeah, this is the most Canadian thing I've ever done in my life."
That's true. Plus, it was what, smoked?
Yeah, Smokes Poutineery. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't Smokes like full on Canadian? Like they have the full like red plate like those checkered design on it and everything.
Yeah, the
and
flannel.
The flannel design and everything. It's like it was like the most Canadian thing I've ever done, but also the Senators just suck, man. They just suck so bad.
I mean, recently, yeah.
My God, no wonder the tickets were so cheap.
They
How
were
much
like
were they? How much were
Wow.
they again?
$25 or something. Yeah,
Well,
because
you're at like 6.
yeah, like because Shreyas wanted to go to Toronto once to watch the
Raptors.
Raptors. And I checked the tickets, and the cheapest one was like $85, and I was like, "Oh, maybe not," because then you
Yeah,
have to
they're
pay.
expensive.
You have to pay for the train to go to Toronto, and then for the
Oh
Airbnb,
yeah, it's a
and
whole
then
trip.
yeah, I was like, "Nope, can't do that."
Yeah,
Nope.
Like,
So,
are you a huge basketball fan or?
yeah. I like the thing is, I was a soccer fan.
football.
Football, yes, exactly. So I was a football fan for a long time, but then I guess it was just that the amount of like craziness and passion that my friends back in university were showing, I just for some reason I just couldn't get myself to be that enthused to like watch a game. Like they would have a full on ritual like before an El Clasico game, and they this was back in I think university. We used to live in dorm in freshman year, and it was like a full on ritual. The boys of the in the dorm would all like we would all like meet in like one guy's room, because his room was like the ultimate tier room, which had a TV and everything in it. So because he had a TV, we had no other, like we were like, sure, if you want to watch football games, we'll just go there and watch it. And so like for some reason I just never really got myself that much involved into football, like how I'm now involved into like basketball and stuff. But yeah, I think that was the thing, is just that I found my calling through basketball rather than football.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Do you like
it
sports,
just
Felipe?
Hmm?
Do you like sports, Felipe?
Nah, I'm a lazy guy. Like,
No,
I
I
don't know.
mean,
I like not like a huge like football, soccer.
mhm.
Like, but I'm not like a good, like I don't know how to play good. You know, like
Yeah,
I
no,
don't try it very often, and
I
I don't
mean,
see the matches.
yeah, I mean, honestly, if it even with me, like I don't know how to play basketball. Like I don't play basketball, but I still love the game. I mean, I love watching it. I love like knowing stuff about it and everything. Even though I can't play, I still like following it to a point where I actually enjoy like watching it, because now I know the rules and regulations and everything and how things work and everything. So it doesn't really depend on if you're like good at playing it or anything, but it's just a matter of, yeah, like it just depends if you have fun watching it.
No.
Yeah, yeah. Like football, it's a very easy sport to like
Yeah,
just hop in because like you can't get lost. You know,
yeah, exactly.
there is
Yeah,
no way to get lost.
yeah, I mean, that is the thing about basketball, is that basketball just has so many rules in it. They have like a lot of different types of violations and fouls and stuff, and it does get difficult at times to follow along and see like what kind of foul or like what happened or anything. But as time went by, I started picking it up more, and now it's fairly a bit more easier for me to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think let's go back to our main topic, right, Felipe?
Yeah,
Which is
the
like
cultural shock or
maybe what to do once you're here,
oh, okay. Well,
right?
like yeah. Do you want to that or well, like it's because Rene got here like easy, like the easy way. But
Family.
like in Shreya's case and my case, it's like a little bit more complex because it is a three-step process and it takes a lot of time. So previously we talked about like how to get to know what you need to get, like just to apply for study permit. That you can just enter like to the Canadian immigration website. But also there are some things that they don't explain you right away. one of them, it's like, and that's why you should get like, if you are able to pay for what's the name of this? Someone that tells you what to do, an advisor.
An advisor.
An advisor. It's a very good idea because they are gonna tell you like some things that immigration doesn't tell you right away. For example, so in my case, my advisor asked me like what was my plan if I wanted to stay here like for living or just to study, or what was my plan, right? So I told her that I wanted to live here. And she was like, okay, then you gotta stay at least 2 years. And I was like, why? And she was like, okay, so how it works, it's like once you graduate, so here in Canada, to apply for a work permit, you need to study a career, right? And according to the time that you spend in that career, it's the amount that they are gonna give you for your postgraduate work permit. And the maximum years that they can give you immigration, it's 3 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like the next step after you get your work permit, that one, you only need to pass your university without failing any class or repeating anything. So that's an easy one, right? But once you get your work permit, like you need to work at least 1 year in a type A or B work. And that is like, it's like working for what you study, you know, like
on your field.
Yeah, on your field. Because like when you apply for your PR, that we talked about that last time, the PR, it's like you become a citizen, but without being able to.
You're a resident.
Yeah.
You cannot vote or have a passport.
Yeah, you can't vote. So, she told me that I need at least 2 years because you want to have enough time like to apply for a job in your field, because you need to be working there at least 1 year. Canada asks you this because they really want to know that you are not expendable, you know, like that you are literally working on something that you study here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like you should really consider that. Like whenever you want to come here, you need to check like everything that you have, you know, like if you can afford to stay here a long time. Because right now I'm like, COVID happened, so it's very difficult for me to get a job and stuff like that. So yeah, like if it wasn't because of my parents like sending me money, like I would have to go back to Mexico.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if you are like very tight, like that's what we were talking about last episode. Like it kind of sounds classist. Like if you're poor, don't come here.
Come on.
Like it sounds very bad, but it's very difficult. Like because you need to have like enough. Like even the Canadian government asks you for this. Like before you apply for your study permit, they ask you like how much do you have in your bank? You or your parents, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't have enough like to support yourself for a while, like without working, like they are not gonna give you the visa.
Mm-hmm.
Like even the student visa, because they are gonna be like, okay, if you can't afford like to live by yourself, like you're not gonna be studying, you're gonna be working.
Yeah. So Shreyas, how was your process of applying for your student visa?
My whole process, like Canadian process, was basically there was this agency back in India. So they basically their main work is to send students from here to different countries for education purposes and everything. So they had one of those student fairs where you basically go and there'll be representatives from different colleges, different universities and stuff from around the country, from around the world, basically. So there are, a lot of colleges are from Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Ireland for some reason. Ireland was a popular one as well. But yeah, so you basically go there, you go meet with a couple universities, colleges and universities. Either so how mine worked was we saw the ad on the newspaper or like online, and we figured out like which of them are Canadian, and then which ones have a program which I might be interested in. So we could sort of narrowed it down to a couple main colleges and main colleges that I can apply for. So we went there, we talked to those guys, and then the agency usually gives you like this little form which you have to fill out, where you have to fill out all the like which colleges and which programs are you guys interested in. So you have to fill all that out. So I filled that out, and then I basically submitted it, and then the next day or like maybe like 2-3 days later they call me back saying that, hey, we're interested, so like we're interested to like help you guys out, so if you guys can come in and have a meeting with us so we can get that done. So me and my parents, we went there. We went and spoke to to whoever the representative was, and the great thing was that the university didn't I mean, not the university, the agency didn't really charge me anything. They didn't charge for their services, because a lot of these agencies, how they work is they basically they get their income from the college itself, because for every student that you can get enrolled into your college, it's commission basis basically. So they like every college basically gives them a certain commission for the amount of students that they can bring in. So I went in, I applied for a couple colleges. Luckily Algonquin was the first one that contacted me back, and I didn't want to really like still test the waters just to see what I'd get, because it was fall intake and I didn't have a lot of time to just idle around and I'll apply, and then I have plenty of time to like apply for visa and stuff. It was just that first come first serve basis.
Yeah.
So Algonquin for like striked out for like Algonquin came in first, so I thought, okay, that's fine. I mean, it's a proper city. I mean, Ottawa is the capital, so
and it's the best city, I guess I would say.
But yeah, so they were the ones who contacted, so I went ahead with it, and honestly, it was not a bad option because Algonquin's actually pretty nice.
Yeah, like agencies are very good, like for anyone that wants to come like to Canada or anywhere in the world, as Shreya was saying. Like agencies really help, especially if you really don't know, or like they make everything way easier. And sometimes they have deals like with your university or with your high school. Like in my case, my high school had an agreement with them, so I didn't have to pay anything but my applications. So that's like super cheap. Well, like it's not super cheap, but it's cheaper.
Yeah. So the other thing that agencies usually help out with is not just like with my agency, they helped me. They didn't charge me anything, but they did let me know that you're gonna have to pay for certain things. So you're gonna have you're gonna have like application fee and all that stuff. That's the only time when they actually asked us to pay. But also like they will take a look at what your previous education what your qualifications are, and then they recommend what it is. So for example, my degree, my like bachelor's degree was a 3-year program. So technically, so my high school was like 12 years, so like from first grade to 12th grade. And so that was like 12 plus 3. So since I had 3, I was not really eligible to apply for a university, because universities usually go for people who have a 12 plus 4, like a 4-year bachelor's degree. So because of that, the lady herself, the agent who helped me out, she herself told me that you can just So you're not eligible to apply for universities, but you can go for colleges. And colleges, there's plenty of colleges in Canada, so you
Yeah.
can. So they will. So your chances of getting an intake in one of these colleges is going to be much more easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, like colleges here, at least I don't know how it is in Montreal. I mean
In India?
Ottawa,
Oh,
but here in Toronto, like most of the colleges, like support themselves because of international students.
yeah. Same with
Yeah,
Algonquin.
That's the same with
Yeah.
pretty much any colleges because like universities' main income comes from Canadians, like
Tuition.
Yeah,
like
Just
Canadians,
tuitions.
like full on like citizens or like resident, like PR
Yeah, yeah.
holders. But colleges, their main income comes from international students. Because my 1 year that I studied in Algonquin, I mean, I have seen less Canadians and more international students there.
Yeah. It was like
Yeah.
most of our class was from India, right?
Oh yeah, I was
Yeah.
the only Indian who was
Was from the
who
south.
was no yeah, technically yeah, because I was that is true, but I was like our class was almost 75% Indians,
Hmm.
and there was only a few Canadians. I think like 3 or 4 were only the people who were Canadians, I guess.
I think
Wow.
3.
3, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was around that. So it was pretty much filled with with Indian students, and then I think the second biggest majority was a lot of
Chinese.
students from China. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
I think that's something that it's important to tell like our viewers. It's like how much it's like the tuition. Like
Mhm.
in my case, at least in Humber College, the college that I attend
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
in my program, the tuition was around 9,000 per semester, like
Oh.
in the international student fee.
Oh, yeah. I
Because
didn't.
you gotta
Yeah.
check that out, like when you check your university.
Yeah. Okay. So
or
yeah.
college.
Before that, we have to explain for people who don't know the difference between college and university,
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah.
Universities are more theory based, and then colleges are more like hands on.
Yeah, it's more
Mm.
practical.
At least in Canada. For example, you would usually go for 4 years to university, and college around 2 or 3. From college,
Yeah.
you would get a diploma. From university, you would get a degree, right? So that's the biggest difference. I'm trying to find something online that I can show our audience on YouTube. I'm not sure if this is very accurate. I mean, kinda. So, for example, I took journalism at Algonquin College. That was 2 years. And then it was literally like writing a newspaper and magazines and writing articles. And then you can do 2 extra years at the University of Ottawa and get your full degree, right? And that's all theory based, like big lectures and theory and like history of journalism and whatever.
Yeah, some
So,
people might get scared about that. Like
mhm.
it might be like, oh, then colleges are like bad. Like they don't do like full education. But no, like it's just like very reduced, like compacted.
Mhm.
They teach you everything that you need to know. And you always have the option like to get your degree.
Mhm.
Like even the college tells you like has programs for that. Like in my case, my program was offering us like to go to London, like in UK.
London, UK,
Mhm.
not Ontario.
What did you expect, London, Ontario?
Yeah, London, Ontario.
No, London, UK. Yeah,
The
like
real one.
to get the degree, but like for me it's very expensive, you know, because
Mhm.
it's in pounds and everything. So yeah, it's very expensive
Come
converted
to
from.
Carleton here in Ottawa.
Nah, no, thank you. But yeah, like something that you should really think about, like what do you want to do, like once you're here. like if you want to stay, if you just want to work a little bit and then go back to your country. Because even if you go back to your country, just because you come all the way here and study and you have like Canadian knowledge, like it's gonna be easier for you to get a job in any country, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like you should really consider staying here, especially like if you really want to stay here, like you need to check out like your applications and stuff like that, because for example, this you can only apply once in your life. Like it's the first thing that it says like at the top of your application. Like it says that you can only apply once in your lifetime. Like if you want to study more as an international student, you can do it as many times as you want. But when it comes to work permit, like they are very restrictive with that. I think that even for PR, you can apply as many times as you want.
You can renew it. If you don't want to get your citizenship, you can renew it.
Yeah, but yeah, like you should really consider that if you are planning to come here. Like, what do you want? Especially, like, I don't know if Shreya, do you came with your parents or with any family?
No. I was pretty much alone.
Yeah, like we're in the same page
yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Like you have to prepare yourself to be alone, right?
Yeah.
Like knowing that your family and friends are in another country and it's difficult to see them.
Yeah.
Speaking about that, Trias, do you have any tips you would give to your friend or people in the audience when it comes to getting ready to come to Canada? And once you're here, like what to do, like personally?
I would say that, you know, if you're planning to come to Canada, you should not. So like first thing, don't get winter clothes from back home. It doesn't work. It's not meant for Canadian winters, so it doesn't work. So don't because not only are you putting too much, like you're putting too much pressure on your luggage as well, because it just makes it more bulkier, and you're just carrying stuff that is not good, that you're not going to get like complete use out of in Canada especially. So like don't bring that. The other thing would be that be very careful, because I've noticed one thing, that Canada is a very, like, there is a lot of shady people in Canada, and especially who are mainly targeting like international students.
Like Felipe. No, I'm kidding.
But yeah, no, but there are like if you're say, for example, if you're coming here, and like in my example, I came here completely alone, because I didn't have I have a friend in Canada, but you know, he is in GTA, and I was moving to Ottawa, so we were not even in the same city or like near the same area, so that was definitely like a shortcoming. But when you're coming here, you should definitely think of, like, if you're coming here all alone, you need to be very cautious, because there are like not only are there like scammers and stuff, but you know, it's just that like international students, when it comes to like scammers, international students are the most like easiest targets to like get in trouble with.
Yeah.
Like that's one thing that you should definitely be careful about. But also I would say that like for example, like finding a house is something, like finding a residence is something that's difficult, because like people, if you're like in, like I've noticed that, you know, and it's not just me, but even you guys might have noticed that like in Canada, especially in terms of when it comes to Indians, there's a lot more like people for like Punjabi people here. So Punjab is basically like it's a state more in the northern side of India. So a lot of people, like if you're someone who's not from India, and if you want to know who's a Punjabi, they're most of the time they would be the people who would be wearing a turban, because turban is a very important part of like the
Their
Punjabi
culture.
culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
No, so they are Punjabi people. So when it comes to Punjabi people, like Punjabis, if you think of like when it comes to Indians in Canada, Punjabis are, I would say, hands down, I would say they are about 75 to 80% of the total Indian population. 80% of that is definitely going to be like Punjabis. So when it comes to if you're a Punjabi person coming to Canada, chances are you will definitely find someone or the other who lives in Canada who can definitely
Mm-hmm.
help you out. But in my case, me being a boy from the south of India who's like I don't have a lot of people who I know who are living in Canada who can like come and help, who can come down and help me, with certain like stuff and everything. So when you're like coming in, like in my case, one of my biggest concern problems early on starting on was finding a place to stay, because the college gives you like especially in terms of Algonquin. I don't know about other colleges, but when like Algonquin gives international students like a 3-day stay at a hotel. And so in these 3 days, basically the international, like the relations officer or whatever his title is, he would basically take you to the banks and get your bank accounts and everything. He would help you like get your bank accounts and your everything set up and everything, and then they'll take you to the college and they'll get you your ID and your like bus pass and everything, and they'll take you to like the, I don't know, like the nearest Best Buy or something, and they'll get you a new like SIM card and everything. So they will help you out for the first like 3 days. For like maybe the first 2 days, they actually help you out and everything, and then the third day is when you're like all by yourself. Like you have to figure everything out and you have to do it. And with my case, for example, when I came here, I didn't have a place. I didn't have a place like ready to stay.
Like your
Um,
agency didn't get you anything?
no, so when I came here, I just like when I tried looking for options online, but there was just not a lot of options, and the ones that looked too like really good and cheap were they just ended up looking too good to be true.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where the whole like the scamming thing and everything happened. So I
Oh,
thought, okay, I'll just come down here and then I'll meet the person like face to face and then get it done. So when I like my on my third day was the last day at the hotel, because then I have no other place to stay. So that in that one day I had to basically find a place, make sure that they like get a guarantee that yeah I can move in on the next day rather than moving in on like a separate like on a like
Next week or
first
something. Yeah.
yeah like next week, like first day of the month kind of first day of the month
Mm-hmm.
kind of situation. So I didn't so I so that thing basically took my whole day. I kept going around looking for different options, seeing what I could get. I was striking out a lot, and that's when I found a place where the landlady was willing to let me like start my lease and move in like the very next day. So in that sense, I was kind of lucky that I could find a
yeah.
place in such a short notice, especially in like the next day I need a place. So and plus when you're coming in here, you don't have a lot of money on you.
Mm-hmm.
So even in that case, like I could have like yeah, some people would say that you could have gone for an Airbnb option, but
It's
even
expensive.
yeah,
Especially over
Airbnbs.
time.
Yeah, especially like over time. Like I can book an Airbnb for maybe 2 days, but like it gives you that time to stay. But if there is a lot of situation where you are gonna be a part of that, where you are gonna be told that yeah you have to start the lease. The lease will start from the first week of the next month. So for example, like in my situation, I came here, I landed in Ottawa in like August 26th, and a lot of options were September 1st. So I had 4 days basically 4 days, out of which 3 days I was living in a hotel, and then I had one more day. And me, just because of the fact that I don't know anybody, I don't have the option of, yeah, I can just go crash at at my friend's house and just and then I can move in the next day or anything. So I had to find an option which was, yeah, you can move in the very next day, and that's not an issue. So I was basically looking for something like that, and I was lucky to actually get something like on that level.
Like in my case, it was the opposite. Like you said that there was a person who helped you to get like all your documents and like your passport, like
bank,
the bus pass and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
In my case, that was like by my own. Like I had to do it by myself. But when it came like to the housing, my agency did that for me. Like,
yeah,
I didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah, so like in a lot of cases, there are like, especially if you're like an Indian student coming from India, like coming to Canada, there are cases where the agency will give you will kind of find out a place to stay where you and they will sort of set that up for you before you come to Canada. But in my situation, they were not really. I mean, come on, man, they didn't charge me anything for applying for like colleges and stuff. So I like expecting even this from them is like I'm pushing it a little bit far.
Yeah.
Like it feels a little entitled in a way.
Yeah, I mean, in my case, it came with the package, like
it was included.
Yeah, but like even if you get here, like in my case, I came here like in a homestay, right?
Mm-hmm.
That it's like the place that your agency puts you in, and from there you are able to decide like if you want to cancel the contract, because you only have to pay monthly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can decide like to move like from
Next
your
month.
homestay. Obviously, you need to tell them like 1 month or 2 months in advance. Yeah. But yeah, like you can search for another place that is cheaper. Like one of my friends lived very near my college. Like she literally lived like just walking the street from it. And she was telling me, oh, here it's way cheaper. It's like $500 per month. And it's like almost the same size. But I didn't like the neighborhood. Like where I'm living right now, it's like it wasn't bad, but like, I don't know, like here where I live, it's like I can see Latino people. Yeah, I'm near Yorkdale, that it's like a good mall. So I don't know, I'm in my comfort area. And back there, it's like my college used to be like 1 hour, maybe 1 hour and a half from here. And that place was kind of like, I didn't like it. I didn't really like the place. So even if I'm paying a little bit more here where I'm staying, like I prefer to be here. I think that that's something that everyone that wants to come here needs like to think about. Like you need to consider the price of your college, like the tuition, because it's usually around $12,000 and $10,000 per semester. And you also need to pay like, I don't know how much it's the rent in Ottawa.
It's way cheaper than in Toronto.
Yeah.
We were talking about it the other day, and I was like, no, move back here. It's crazy.
It's because here in Toronto, what happened, it's like the Chinese immigrants came here, like the rich ones, and they start buying like a lot of houses. But they don't buy like an apartment. They buy the whole building. And so that made like a gap in the in the real estate
market.
So everything went up like really, really high.
I mean, isn't that the same case in Vancouver?
Yeah, Vancouver and Montreal, it's having the same issues. So yeah, like if you come here and you want to buy a house, like that's what you need to think if you want to stay here living.
Yeah.
Because like in my case, my dad can help me to buy a house and stuff like that. But if you want to come here by your own, like you might need like if you're coming here like to start from scratch, like literally
It's gonna
making
be
your
really
own,
tough.
yeah, like you are not gonna live in downtown Toronto. You are not gonna live even near downtown Toronto. Like you are gonna live very far away. Like
Hamilton.
yeah, because
Yeah,
houses there are way cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, is it like that is the main problem with like a lot of these big like Ottawa compared to like Toronto and Montreal and Vancouver and everything. Ottawa is relatively way more tamer. That
Yeah.
maybe that is the reason why that the real estate market in Ottawa is comparatively a bit more tame compared to like these bigger cities.
Yeah.
Even though it is the capital and everything, if you're gonna plan on like living in Ottawa, yeah, if you're planning to live downtown, yeah, that's where the like the market, that's where like the houses and everything they go. Like if you're trying to buy a house, it's definitely going to be more expensive downtown. Say like if you're gonna move certain like a bit further, like Nepean is an area in Ottawa. If you like look further, like more in more down like near Nepean or anything, then it gets a bit more cheaper.
Yeah, like I was talking about Rene about this, like how much the apartments are here in Canada, at least in Toronto, and I was telling him that it's way cheaper than in Mexico City, because in Mexico City you can buy, like obviously the prices are up here in Toronto, like an apartment it's usually like between 600,000 and 400,000. But in Mexico, an apartment it's like how to make the conversion? Like it's 4 million pesos, but it's only like 150 meters, square meters. And here, like there are 400 meters, and you only need to pay like 6 million pesos.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh
like
wow.
it's way more expensive in Mexico City
Oh
if you
wow.
compare sizes, obviously.
Hmm.
So yeah, like you need to, like if you want to live here, you need to think about those prices
Yeah.
because you don't want to be paying for your house your whole life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that I will be I have noticed that especially when it comes to Toronto and GTA area, I've noticed that because that's kind of the same thing that's happening in Mumbai. Because Mumbai is just it's a like when you look at it in terms of area wise, it's a very small city. It's a very very small city. It's ridiculous how small it is, and it's ridiculous how many people live there.
Yeah, it's the
Because
same in Mexico City.
Mm-hmm.
yes, and so because there's so many people living there, and since it's like since it's kind of like the same deal as Toronto, it's like the financial capital, and people mostly go to Toronto when they are looking for work. That's the main area to go for. So that's the same thing with Mumbai is that they converted basically the like more west like eastern side of Mumbai is like more mainland area, and they converted the whole mainland area into a full on, they call it new Mumbai. So they converted like the whole area into a different like residential areas, and like there's no like concept of a suburb. But if like I would say New Mumbai is more, I would say it's definitely more focused to be more of like a suburban area, because that's the place where you can actually like you want to plan on working in Mumbai, but you also want to try and buy a house without spending too much money. So in that cases, like New Mumbai is like it's like Brampton. It's like Brampton or Mississauga that
Oh, I
you
see.
can get a place in Mississauga or Brampton. You can buy a house in Brampton or Mississauga, and you can still drive and go to work in Toronto. And that's kind of the same situation as how it is with like New Mumbai and Mumbai. is that people have jobs. Like my dad has a job in Mumbai, but he travels from, like, we live in New Mumbai, so he travels from New Mumbai and he goes to Mumbai. Like he goes to Mumbai and works there, and then he comes back. So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
here in
Wait.
Toronto, the people that live like in like outside the city, like in Etobicoke, places like that are a little, well, like they're far away from downtown. Like I feel that Toronto is made for cars,
Yeah.
because you in a car you make like half an hour from those places, but if you take the bus you can make like 2 hours just to get like to
Yep.
Jesus.
to
Yep. Yeah.
downtown.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah. Also, we're gonna end this pretty soon. But Shreyas,
Yep.
so when you come to Canada, like everyone, Felipe, Shreyas, me, we come here to learn, right? To be better people, right? I want to be better with myself. That's our thought usually, right? So me and Felipe were learning French in middle school together, and then I started learning German. And coming back to Canada, I was like, oh, I don't know any French, so I'm studying French. But before French, I was learning Hindi, and I was teaching Shreyas some of my skills. He was really impressed. So this phrase,
I would say impressed is, it's you're reaching for it, but okay,
I'm pretty much
I'll take
fluent. I'm
impressed.
pretty much fluent, right?
Okay.
This phrase is gonna prove that, right? So every morning I would come and see our PHP teacher, and I'd be like, and I would tell him, "Amel Nepata." So Shreyas, could you translate
Can you
that?
say can you say that again, please? It got cut off in my system.
Amel Nepata.
Amel Nepada? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Amel is the name of our teacher.
Amel is the name of our teacher. So when you say Amel Nepada, it basically means Amel just farted.
I didn't know that until Shreyas told me that was the meaning.
Well,
of
that was
phrase.
that was the one thing that I taught him, and then I would say he's definitely
I'm so fluent.
I don't know if he remembered anything, any other Hindi words or anything, but that's the one word that he will forever haunt me with.
Shukriya, Shreyas, for teaching me. That's thank you, right?
Buddy.
Shukriya.
Yep.
Yeah. You see, I'm fluent.
Yeah.
And you know what else is fluent? Your subscription to our Patreon and our podcast on YouTube and Apple Podcast and Spotify, guys. So thank you for joining
segue.
us. I know I'm Linus now. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, thank you, Shreyas, for coming and talking to us, sharing a little bit about you. Thank you, Felipe, for being Felipe. And thank you, Renee, for the amazing segue that we just saw. So guys, remember, rate us on Apple Podcast, comment on our YouTube, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at our Path CA. Remember, we're our international path now. And see you in the next one.
Oh, by the way, I designed everything. So yeah. Can you just
follow
shout out my
Shreyas.
Instagram as well?
Heike? Loki Da Vinci. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you, Shreya. Thank you, Felipe. And bye-bye.
Bye-bye.